obviously a disappointing result last week, and a surprising one as well, really, considering that you'd obviously beaten the Heineken Cup holders only 8 days before.
We definitely weren't surprised with the amount of intensity that they brought down.
Yeah.
It was more disappointing for us. I think I wouldn't say we over or underestimated them, but we definitely lacked the intensity that we had the previous week.
Why do you think that was?
I'm still trying to search with it myself. I think the last kind of 4 or 5 weeks have really taken a lot out of the team, not just physically but a lot mentally, and I think maybe there could have been a hint of complacency in there. I think because we'd been doing what we've been doing for the last few weeks and it's been paying off.
Yes.
It would have been easy to go into that kind of comfort zone. But it's hard to pinpoint out. I can tell you we went wrong. We definitely made too many errors.
Yes.
And now with a team like the Scarlets who had nothing to lose, and who came to Majestic just wanted to play. They just wanted to play, and they definitely did that. I think it could have been a lot worse than what it was.
Yeah. And yet you were actually on the point of winning it, weren't you? It was only in the last 90 seconds, was it? I think they put that must have been hard to take right at the end.
It was hard, this team has a lot of pride in closing out games, especially in recent years. So it was heartbreaking because I think in the past kind of 18 months we've shown that in that kind of situation we can close out a game. We can keep the position out. But to Scarlet's credit again, they didn't stop. The movement started from inside their 22 when they were kind of had their backs against the wall. So it was a very hard pill to swallow.
Yeah. Was it? I mean, afterwards, I can imagine in the dressing room it must have been pretty. Was it downbeat or?
Very downbeat.
Yeah.
It was more. The boys were angry.
Yeah.
Some guys were definitely upset with the performance, but it was more a feeling of disappointment. We not only let ourselves down, we let our coaching staff down, and also the supporters. So it was a pretty quiet changing room after the game, but it's probably a good thing that we get to go back to the Premiership this week and we're able to refocus and get a few smiles back on the faces and get ready to rip into this weekend.
Yeah. Do you think? I mean, what kind of effect do you think a game like that has on you when you lose it at the death there? Do you think you can use that to kick on this week? Or?
Definitely, definitely. I think we learned a lot more last week from losing than we did. If we'd won that game, we probably wouldn't have learnt as much.
Yes.
We're counting it as a blessing in disguise. I suppose every now and then you need a good kick up the backside just to just to get yourself back in check. So I think it will serve us really well going into this weekend.
What are you like after a defeat? Are you somebody who can just wipe it from your mind, or are you just desperate to play the next game?
Better ask my missus about that one. I take it pretty hard because I think it's because I take it quite personally. It's I get pretty disappointed, and I'm probably not the most cheerful person to be around, but I'm also one that they will look at the game and try to take the positives out of it.
Yes.
As much as possible, because it's such a long season that you can't really afford to let those feelings and those emotions creep into the next week when you're trying to refocus. Yeah. So I'll throw my toys around for an hour or a couple of hours, but got to be able to recover pretty quick because, as I said, it is a long season, and also you got to look at the lessons you've learned from that game and be able to take those on board, and probably won't take as much on if you've got a pretty angry head.
And what are the lessons to be learned, you think?
The lesson we learned last week was we just cannot win games if we're gonna make that many mistakes.
Yeah.
A lot of it was like personal areas, little things like drop balls, bad passes, guys not being in the right place at the right time, especially in our defensive system, which has worked really well for us.
Mm-hmm.
And Scarlett's exposed us quite a few times on it. So it's and also that we got to play for the full 80 minutes, and it's an old cliche, but we're a side that likes to continue attacking even if we have a lead. We don't like this defending lead mindset. We don't want to get in front and then just cruise for the rest of the game. We love to attack, and we've got to be able to do that for the full 80 minutes.
Now you're playing Leicester on the Saturday on TV, but both of you actually got the two best defensive records, I think I'm right in saying, at the moment in the Premiership. You conceded the least points anyway. What kind of a game do you think we're likely to see? Do you think? I mean, you've obviously got the most tries as well, so.
I think it's going to be a pretty expensive game.
Yeah.
This Leicester are a team who've kind of changed their style over the last kind of 12 months with Richard Cockrell there. So they like to throw the ball around. They've got some pretty good strike runners out wide and in the midfield. So I'm expecting a pretty fast, hard-running game. But once again, with both teams being pretty solid in defence, it should make for a pretty good view.
Now, obviously, the last time you met as well was in the Premiership final. What are your thoughts? Have you over that? Is there a sense of revenge or?
No, you can use that as motivation, but when you're playing a team like Leicester, you really don't need a lot to be motivated to play against a team like Leicester at any stage. The final was, it's gone. I personally don't dwell anymore, and to be honest, I don't need the thought of the final to give me any more motivation to play against Leicester, because they are one of the best clubs in Europe, and I think for me personally that's motivation enough to want to knock them off.
And if you win, I think I'm right in saying you'll go top, albeit if Saracens win on the Sunday, I think they've got Leeds. I think they'd go back above you. But you like to hit that top spot?
I'd love to, but I'd love to hit the top spot. But at the moment, I'm pretty happy with second. I'd like to just make sure we're there or thereabouts. I'd rather be in top spot come kind of April, May.
Yeah.
So in terms of being the leaders, I'm really not too worried. I know how it's more pressure when you're leading, when you're at the top of the table, especially at this stage of the season.
Yeah.
You have all these other clubs chasing you, but no one ever wants to chase second. So we're pretty happy to stay there at the moment, as long as we keep winning. And
you're within striking distance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And you've got probably get Stefan will be back this week. How much of a impact do you think that will be?
I think it'll impact the opposition a lot more. He's a class player and one I'd really hate to play against. So he brings so much more to the team in terms of his work on the ground and also his ball carrying. He doesn't get a lot of reps for it, but Stefan's probably one of our stronger ball carriers. He's just so hard to tackle. He's got a low center of gravity, and it's got such a small target because he's so short with short legs.
Yeah.
So it's it's a bit harder to tackle him, but I think it'll give the boys a bit of a boost because it gives the rest of our loose forwards and our fullback a lot more room to move with Steph there because of the work he does.
Yeah. And he's up against the man who's probably going to be competing against for the England number 7 jersey as well, Lewis Moody. So it's really nice to give him a...
It's a great chance for Stefan to, especially on the eve of international selections, to really put a mark down for himself and let the England coaches let them know that there's players out there that don't play for Leicester.
Yeah.